Okay, we are here at Fleet Feet. I am getting ready to get professionally fitted for my workout shoes, actually for my marathon shoes. I'm getting ready to break them in. I'm 3 months out from the marathon, and I need to get them now to start breaking them in. So we have a professional here, Mr. Tom, who is going to professionally measure my feet and tell me what shoes work well to avoid any issues and pain.
Yep. And close to the skin.
Going to the scanner.
I'm going to take a picture of the skin. I'm going to have a sheet over here to fill out some information real quick, okay?
You can take a picture of the scanner.
And see number 10.
Take a picture of that board too.
First time in a while, or first time ever?
I know some things have changed since I've been here.
Okay.
Well, actually, you all wasn't even here. Look how old those shoes were. I went to the one over the other one.
Alright. So let's get rescanned. Go ahead and put your full name down at first.
Okay, what else you want to do there?
Shoes that you have. So we can go with it. We can rescan these and fill it up with the tag. Then we'll always. Perfect. So go ahead and put your socks on.
Okay. These are the socks. These are the type of socks that I actually do my runs in. They are actually compression socks. They work for me. So, gotta fight to get them on. Look in the picture. Maybe I don't. I should probably pull those bracelets off.
You look awesome.
Yeah.
So you made it look.
Yep. I wear these very religiously because it works for me.
So
So do you do a lot of races?
I've done just one marathon. There's a 5K and 10K.
Okay. Now you're trying to get my leg. I see what you're trying to do.
Okay, so we're going over the scanner. Okay. We'll have a spot hold and press hold this little finger. Coming up front bar right here. Go ahead and set it up on there and center your feet.
What's that, dress?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bracelet part 2 they've added here since then too is just watch your step coming off. What you do is just what we're going to do with the machine is we're just going to get a stride here. I want you to take these little short steps naturally, okay? And when you get set up.
Okay, now I have a question. When you say naturally,
Right.
is it the way I naturally walk or the way I'm going to pace myself with power walking? That's different.
I think just naturally, normal. Not like power walking. Because what I say is this machine will probably kick it off.
Okay.
That's a small step. I've noticed that. You don't go so far off, man. This is amazing right here. I did a couple times. Very good. Just picks up a little bit each time.
Do it again.
got it that time. Watch this one. See this feel free in just a second. Yeah, so let's take a look at that over here. So, just a quick glance here. They have a little dotted line down the center here. I want to see if you kind of supinate and come to pronation. It looks like you do that pretty good. You swing out, supinate, and come to pronation. Looks like your shoes are probably worn a little bit on the outside. You have a tendency to kind of wear those over here. The pressure points are showing up on the supinating on the outside of the foot. And the insoles in the shoes you want to be considering for the distances you're doing. Internally kind of draw that foot up and keep it from splaying out and having foot fatigue and plantar fasciitis, and some overpronation can come with it. So there's certain distances, especially at the marathon distances, everybody needs some type of support inside that shoe. And you have the compression socks, which are fantastic. They kind of give you that circulation, that support, reduces again that splaying of the foot. But now we're going to bring a little bit of that bridge, that earth to the foot inside there with that insole, okay?
Yeah, I normally get those.
Okay. Right here we're looking at a 10.1C, and that's a little bit width friendly, bead standard, okay? So what I'm looking at probably is 11, 11 and a half, just given on, we're gonna go on down here a little bit further and just take a look at it, but I wanna see some more parameters before I make a call, okay? So let's see, so right here, on the ball of the foot, on the horizontal, right? We're just a little bit width friendly because of those bunions there, okay? While we're here, let's take a look at the history, and the foot kind of gives us an idea. Looks pretty good back here. It's pretty stable. And when you get to the front, you see the bunions are kind of going off, your toes drifting, tell me that you're overpronate at some point in your life, and you're running probably that impact 10 times the body weight running, 1.5 walking. So that distance is what's making your foot kind of splay out a little bit and overpronate. Okay? Socks and insole draw that up, allow that flexion, that big toe to go straight through, so that's splaying out. And the shoe type would help you out too, since it wouldn't wear out that inside in a month and have too much pulling over on it. So I want to have a little bit more durability, stability shoe to go with it, all to prevent this from getting bigger and bigger and your knees fall and track that, okay? So that's, again, the signs of what I want, stability there we need. But coming out of the gate, while we're, those arches look good back here, it's because your arches are, really nice and structured. See high, I think, structured here. And still, the instep too is just pretty firm considering. And so just somewhere, what kind of shoes you're wearing, everything. You've been doing a lot on your feet and running, that distance, everything, and things are just kind of getting looser and tired there, and you're going to support it. That's why generally, just 1 or 2% of the population do marathons, because they're a little bit risky, and you got to support and structure your feet, get the right setup, what you're doing, to kind of prevent that risk dramatically. Okay. Heel width is kind of standard. That's what I wanted to take a look at. If you look at that back view there, we want to starting off, everything's structured, everything's fine, but something's happening along the way where, again, we're showing those signs of overpronate. So if you're doing, let's say 5Ks, 10Ks, probably no big deal. You can do about any shoe you wanted to. I always recommend the insoles for the timing and the training of your foot to go through the heel, pronation, and supination, moving through that foot. Thickness of the foot and the ball area there is kind of standard volume. And so what we're doing here, we're not just doing a length fit, we're doing a volume fit also. So being in the medium range, we could do thick or thin sock, thick or thin insoles, okay? Same thing with the neck of the foot, the instep, the volume of it. It's kind of standard, so no extremes there. Okay? And this is kind of showing you statistics, kind of long, and the ball width kind of standard. Going back to this right here, heels sort of standard. I would go start with an 11. Yeah, just because that 10.5, generally I want to bump it up a little bit. No matter what size it says, and every brand's a little different. I want to have a little swelling room in the front, a little pinch in the front. So that's what's always you're looking for. Okay.
Not one problem.
Yes. I bring out 11. Got too much in the front, that's when we start listening to what you steered me, and that's where you're gonna back up a little bit. Okay? So, but let's see, I'm thinking 11. little bit of stability issue right now because of the distance that you're telling me I've got to think all the puzzle pieces have to be in play. You have the compression sock, that's something I don't have to go over with you, but that's a fantastic piece. You and I both know that with the support, the circulation, the spring in your step. So a lot of these pieces like the insole and the socks and all these pieces we're adding to it, you want a supportive benefit and you want a performance benefit. Okay, and that's the spring in your step as it drives you through there correctly and not really splay out so much. So going back to this, if I didn't have these toes drifting out to the sides there like that, I would probably put you in a neutral shoe because everything looks fantastic. The archer's looking good and everything else, but that right there is telling me we're having some overpronation going on. Okay?
Yeah.
So I've got to take care of that.
Yeah.
So that, the distance, again, I have to say this, the weight of the person, which you're fantastic at what you say, I have to say that on it. But that's risky, like me being heavier and flat-footed, I get riskier after about mile 3. We all have our turning point. Most people at mile 13 are gonna have some foot splaying and fatigue going on. Okay, so that's why I think you're having this, because you've been doing a few marathons, I'm assuming, and that's just catching you a little bit. Maybe you haven't had an insole in the shoe. Okay.
No, that is insole.
Okay, so shoe type may have changed, but that's some of the things to look at. So beyond this, I'll go ahead while we're on camera and tell you, you want to go ahead and get massage tools, stretching tools, and you've got the compression tool. It's more than a sock, it's a tool. Okay, so this could be a recovery tool, sleeping overnight, get that blood flow going. So you want to do this as a prescription. You want to stretch before and after you run, before you go to bed at night, massage your feet before and after you run, before you go to bed at night. Make sure you're ahead of the game and stay there, and not be, things catching up with you. Massage your legs out, so all of a sudden, let's say you're tight over here, you overcompensate over here, and all of a sudden at mile 10 or 11, everything just starts hurting all the way up on that side because you haven't flossed out your muscles and everything's not pliable and blood flow going. So that's sort of that warm up before, lactic acid out of your system after, and before you go to bed at night, everything tightens up at night. So you got to make sure your blood flow is going, so you can speed up the recovery. So it's all about recovery and getting back in the game quicker. Okay. So let me go back there. Oops.
Okay.
And I would say 11. Let me see what I have.
Okay.
And we'll start from there, and then kind of give me some feedback, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it.